Nama, everyone. On behalf of Dr. Pallavi, welcome you all to this review session on Pournami Sriyantra Puja, which we are going to do on 29th of September. This preview is kept for giving you insight about what is going to be there in the puja, that is one, and what are the various topics which will be covered or which we will go through during that session. I am Bhairav Das. I am a Shree Vidya Upasaka, and we have Dr. Pallavi with us. Dr. Pallavi is also a very advanced Shree Vidya Upasaka. Along with that, she has written over 13 books and she has around 3,000 published blogs on her website, drpallavikwatra.com. Along with that, her articles have been featured in various magazines, which are spiritual and otherwise also. So I'll request Dr. Pallavi to kindly start with a preview of our session, which is coming on 29th of September.
Thank you so much, Bhairavji. Shri Matre Namaha. Welcome to all of you. And I'm very humbled and grateful that you have been able to come today for this session, where we will be able to give you a brief about what exactly are we going to do on this upcoming Pournami, which is also on a Friday this time. And I'm feeling a little nervous to talk about this so formally, actually, because I feel that I am more like a joyful child of the mother. So when it comes down to being very serious about it, it's something that I do my sadhana, that's it. And I don't know what else is there for me to do or not to do. So please forgive me if I have made any omissions in today's presentation. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to take you down a little brief preview of what is Lalitashasranama, who is Devi. So I am presuming here that we have a mixed audience where everybody is not a Sri Vidya Upasak and everybody need not be a Sri Vidya Upasak. But the idea of collecting here today is that we have one common thing in all of us, that we have this tinge in the heart, for Devi. So there is a longing inside us where we want to discover, we want to understand, we are curious. And that curiosity, that childlike curiosity, is the key point that Devi loves. She loves the play. She loves us to be childlike. So throughout the session, keep yourself very open and don't think that I need to do this very seriously and this is how it needs to be done. This is how it is. There's nothing like that. The idea of keeping these sessions is to break out of the traditional cult concept of how Devi can be available only to Sri Vidya Upasaks, or maybe who are only like hardcore into Devi. There's nothing like that. Here we are on this platform because we want that everybody who has that playful longing for Shakti should be able to celebrate with her. So I am just sharing my screen and I will take you down some information first. Bhairavji, is my screen visible with the
Yes.
PDF? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So this month. The Pournami is going to be on 29th September at in the evening. During this time, around this time only, we are going to do a Lalitashasranama Sriyantra Puja on that day. So today's session is just to tell you about little bit about who is Shakti and give you a little preview so that you understand and what exactly are we going to do in that session. Okay. So that will be like a live puja session where I will be guiding through the phonation, I will use my kantha to sing the hymn of Lalitashasranama. And you can do the puja in your individual home setups on your Shree Yantra. So that's what we're going to do on next Friday. Okay. But today we will speak a little bit about Lalita. So first I'm going to share some personal journey. See, this is not a encyclopedia knowledge that I want to bring to you. Everybody's got access to Google, to YouTube, and all of us keep reading texts and scriptures in PDFs and watching videos and understanding what is the meaning of a name, this, that. There's so much information available. But the idea of doing this is to inspire you to have your own personal connection with Devi. So just like I made that connection with Devi around 6 years back. So I am here to share that joy with you on how that happened. So around 6 years back, I was actually dwelling deep into the concepts of Tantra. I've always been an avid reader and I've always tried to explore various facets of life through so many deep spiritual paths and teachings that came to me through the blessings of gurus. So at the time, I had no connection or no idea about what is this Shakta tradition of Tantra. And at that time, I got to know about this book called The Goddess and the Guru, which is actually a biography of Sri Amritananda Natha Guruji of Devipuram, written by a Western guy called Michael Bowden. It's a very famous book. So I just happened to land on the book and I purchased the book and I started reading about this magnificent being who was a nuclear scientist and was a great scientific disposition mind. And at a very ripe age, he had a change makeover in his life. He had an explosion in his life where he had the darshan of Devi and was informed, not asked, informed that his life is now going to be dedicated to spreading the word of Devi, teaching Sri Vidya to everyone around him. He was going to be used as an instrument of Devi to for many to connect to her. And he was guided in a vision to make a temple, a very unique temple in the form of a Shree Yantra, which is now at Devipuram in India, Andhra Pradesh in India. So I started reading the book and I was so much drawn to this person. I felt that, like my own story of how I am a doctor and I was of a scientific disposition and I was also drawn to Devi. So I was very intrigued to find out what really caused this change in such a late age in this man. And while I was reading the book, I actually flew to Devipuram and I saw the Virat Swaroopa of Lalitambika right there in the temple. And it was really an extraordinary impact on my whole life in that one moment of contact, like the eyes contacted the idol. And it was like really like a total transformation in my life. And I knew that I was in a deep love affair with Devi. So, and this was going to be a long-term affair. It wasn't something which was just love at first sight and then you forget about it. So that is the beginning of the journey. And then in Devipuram only, I got initiated into Sri Vidya by Guruji's wife. And I came back and I started working with the mantras. I wasn't more of a mantra chanting person until I started doing these mantras and I started feeling the vibration of living Shakti inside me. And 2019, while I was continuing with my sadhana for the past 2-3 years with the mantras, I actually went to Devipuram again for their 25th Mahakumbh Abhishekam. Now, that was again a very turning point in my journey with Lalita, because there, right in the premises, I got a download of creating very unique rendition for her, a devotional rendition in the form of a book which would have 1000 images of Devi. Now, that was whomsoever I would want to share this vision also. It sounded very abstract and very impossible. But it came to me at that time. And within the next 4 months, Devi actually put me through a hard grind in which I did lots and lots of chantings, thousands of chantings of Lalitashasranama and Lalitatripura. And this conceptualized book actually got materialized. And after that, since then, the book has been revered by Sri Vidya and Shakti Upasaks from across the world. I've got so much of love and affection from everyone because the book continues to be used differently by different people, and they continue to feel the connection through the various swaroopas, the various images, and they keep blessing my life. And that's how, like, the book came around. So that's I'm just telling you a synchronological thing of my journey with Lalita. What are the important things in that timeline? Now, after the book came around, I have always continued to do Lalitashasranama as my daily spiritual practice for all these 5-6 years. Khadagmala Stotra and Lalitashasranama are the cornerstones of my Shree Vidya practice. So I came around with this idea that like, we are in the urban cities and we all want to have that connection. We have Shree Yantras at home. We don't know how to worship them. We don't know how to use them. There's a lot of fear and cult around the whole thing. And so rather than welcoming Devi, we are more cautious about the fact that we have to be more appropriate with her. So I want to bring around some space where we can be less formal and more devotional in our connection with Devi. So I created a free Sri Vidya course as a devotional offering to Guruji on my website. Now, that's a theoretical course which has detailed descriptions of lots of Sri Vidya mantras and processes and tarpanams. And in that, there is a chapter on Lalitashasranama where you can actually access the individual translations of the names. I was still not happy because it still was very theoretical, and many people had done that, and I still didn't know how to get it really into the grind of the sadhak. So around 2 years back, I curated this e-course on my website, which has got a guided videos with simple step-by-step process on how to do a Sriyantra Puja using Lalitashasranama. So this can be done by anyone. It does not need an initiation, and it just needs a discipline. It just needs your devotion. So that's how the course came around. Now, after the course, in November last year, I felt that I had nothing actually to pray to Devi about, frankly speaking. And I was just going on, doing the chantings every day of Lalitashasranama. So I felt that it's time for me to convert my spiritual practice into a service. So I started to offer many kinds of Sri Vidya and Sri Yantra pujas for people who had lots of issues in their life, or even if they did not have an issue, there was a good celebratory time in their life, like a birthday or a good auspicious occasion. So I started to pray on their behalf, and I started to offer Sri Yantra pujas of Khadagmala and Lalita Sahasranama chantings and everything. Across these 4 or 5 years, I also was inspired to offer energized Shree Yantras to many people across the world. Energized Shree Yantra, why I call them is that each one, about 500 people have received these energized Shree Yantras. And each of them have had a connection with me where they have come forth with their personal prayer requests. I've tried to understand what exactly are they wanting me to transmit to Devi as a postman. So for every Sri Yantra that was offered, I have very dutifully done a charging of the Sri Yantra with a Lalitashasranama chanting and some heartfelt energization processes. So that's how the energized Sri Yantras came around, the books came around. There are other books also. There are actually 4 books on Devi and Ganpati. They are actually related to each other. So there's a set of Shiva Shakti books that came around one after the other. There were these courses, there were the yantras. And then last year, I actually was drawn to the Mother Kamakhya. So I actually realized that Kamakhya Devi is none other than Lalita, and I was rerouted and reflected back to her through this divine connection. I started doing a lot of sadhana for Kamakhya Devi and also offering pujas for her, and enjoyed the beautiful womb connection that I almost felt like a fetus, always protected, always blessed with that connection. So that's how I have been led from Lalita to Kamakhya. That's the whole story. Why I want to bring around this whole story to you is just because that we want to work, we want to love Shakti, and we don't know where to start, and we don't know what's the end goal, what are we aiming for. So I want to just show you this very symbolically here. Now here is a Sri Yantra, okay? Now this Sri Yantra has these steps here, you can see, okay? And then it's like a mountain. That's why it's called a Meru. And there's a tip here. Now what is this tip? This tip is called as the Bindu. This is the Bindu of the Sri Yantra. Now what do you see? The Bindu is always one point, okay? It's like a single point. So this depicts the story of a sadhaka. So when we start with our connection to Devi, we are actually at this point, we are at the base point of the mountain. And as we go on doing our sadhana, we go on doing, we go on loving, we go on surrendering, then we reach, what is the end point of Sri Vidya sadhana? To come at the Bindu. So the Bindu is the point of fusion of Shiva and Shakti. And it is a singular point, which means that there is only one. So what does that mean? Shiva and Shakti are one. So what is that inference for us? That inference is that we are now the single non-dual self of Shiva Shakti communion, where everything is one. The entire matrix is us. We are Devi. We are everything. We are the self. So I call this as the Bindu consciousness. And this is the highest point of our spiritual journey. This is the goal of our Sri Vidya journey. So please do not just make your connection a very automated one where you just go on doing a ritual only and forget what's actually the goal of all this. So it's not a ritualistic practice just to go on repeating like a parrot, the hymns. There's no greatness or mastery in that. The mastery is about the inward journey with Devi, okay, where you are able to come more and more into the fusion of your inner self. So Atma Vidya, that the knowledge of the self, this is the highest knowledge, the highest jnana, and it's great good fortune to encounter this in your lifetime. So don't worry about anything, just do your sadhana and keep moving upwards towards the Bindu non-dual consciousness. So that's about my own journey. Sorry to bore you with that, but I wanted to add a personal note here because it's not an educational class only. It's about creating that spark inside you to connect to Devi. Now we keep hearing of Lalithatripurasundari again and again, here and there. We go here, we go to YouTube, everybody is talking about her. So who is she? So who is this mystic goddess that everybody keeps saying is very graceful, is very beautiful? So she is basically one of the Dasa Mahavidyas. In our Eastern tradition, we have 10 major goddesses. We have many, many goddesses and many, many forms. But out of them, these 10 have been chosen as the core swaroopas. So she is one of the Dasa Mahavidyas. And the entire Kaula Marga of Shree Vidya Shakta tradition is revolving around her. It's the knowledge of Sri Lalita Devi. Now, why she's called as Tripura Sundari? What does Tripura mean? Tripura means that there are three worlds. Okay. So there are many references to there are many threes in her. So I'm just telling you, I'm mentioning those. So the three worlds of Manas, Buddhi, and Chitta. She is the beholder of all the three worlds. She controls all the worlds, all the three worlds. And she stays in three cities that are made up of gold, silver, and iron. And this entire matrix, there must have been a starting point, and there is a maintenance force that is holding it. We all are being held, no matter what we think, that we are doing everything in our life, and if we fail to do, then we will just be abandoned. But aisa nahi hai. We are always held, no matter whether we worship Devi or we don't worship Devi. There are so many people in the matrix who don't even know what is Devi, but they are also being held. They are also being maintained, tended to, taken care of. So she is the creator, maintainer, and the annihilating force, because also destruction has to happen. Now, destruction could also refer to the destruction or annihilation or the thinning of your own ego, which makes you always feel that you're different from everything else around you. So she's the destroyer of that I ego principle inside. So she's the creator, maintainer, and the destroyer. Now, there are everything in the manifest universe starts with a thought. So there has to be an ichcha or a desire to do something. That is the first step of anything to manifest in the material world. And then once you have an ichcha or desire to do something, you start to gain knowledge about it, and you start to know the details about how to go around it. So that is jnana. And then you put that knowledge into action, you apply it, and that is kriya. Kriya is action. And when you have a combination of ichcha, jnana, and kriya shaktis, then you have a manifested reality. So she is the inspiration of all the three steps that bring anything and everything into the manifest universe: ichcha, jnana, and kriya shaktis. Also, we have three states of consciousness. We have a sleeping state, we have a jagruta state or an awakened state, we have a dream state. And there is a fourth state, which is the transcendental consciousness, which is beyond all the three states, that is called as Turiya. So she is basically that Turiya consciousness beyond all these states that we know of. So these are all the threes that she actually is. That is why she's Tripura Sundari. And that was a little bit about her. If you come to the main workshop, we will talk more in depth on these topics. Today is only a preview, so I'm just touching upon the basics here. So next topic that we need to prod into is, what is Lalitashasranama? We keep hearing of Lalitashasranama. You're all here because you want to know what is Lalitashasranama. So in our Eastern tradition, we have this wonderful way of, doing upasana, very gloriful upasana to our devatas and devis. we sing to them, we adore them, we love them. So each and every body part, like each and every expression that Devi has, the way that she has her fingers kept, the mudras, her beauty, her wisdom, her presence, her saubhagyam. There are so many attributes to Devi. So that led to the birthing of a Sahasranama for her. What is Sahasranama? Sahasra means thousand, and Nama means names. So Lalitashasranama are 1,000 names of Devi that are describing her in her entire splendor. Now, it is such a beautiful thing that in spite of giving her 1,000 upadhis or identities or forms, it's still, we are still incapable of decoding her. How come? Because she is very mystic. She is very guhya. So you cannot understand her simply with your intellect. But through the 1,000 names, I would say that these are baby steps only. 1,000 names are just the baby steps of what she is. She is so much beyond the 1,000, infinite, infinite wisdom, infinite blessings, infinite wisdom. Everything is infinite. So, but we are finite. So we need something quantifiable to be able to talk about her. So that's why we can sing the Sahasranama so that we can enjoy and celebrate her in these different forms and adore her, express our devotion to her. Now, a very rare, unique thing about the Sahasranama of Lalita is that no one name is repeated twice. In generally the other Sahasranamas, because the 1,000 is quite a lot of figure. So, like you get tired and then something you have to repeat to describe the same God. You come back to the same repetition. Even in Vishnu Sahasranama, there is a repetition, but in Lalita Sahasranama, no name is ever repeated. So that's a unique thing. And this is a complete spiritual practice for anybody who is wanting to go into the inner path of self-discovery. The daily chanting of Lalita Sahasranama is a complete spiritual practice. It's good for your emotional, physical, mental well-being. It's good for you to do the bhoga and yoga practice because she does not shun the desire in you. She does not ridicule the desire in you, but she inspires you to use your desire to do the transcending the desire. So she helps you manifest in the materialistic world all the goodness, all the abundance, all the riches, and then she makes you go antarmukhi when when like your heart is full that now I've had enough. I have everything that this world calls to be of auspiciousness. I have great fame, I have knowledge, I have a good family, I have the best of businesses, everything. So there comes a point in your journey where you have deep satisfaction, and then you begin to look within for something more fulfilling there. So that there she is waiting for you to do your inward journey. So she helps you to do the bhoga in the material universe and gather great fortune here, and then turn inwards and uh, like work towards your mukti. So this Sahasranama was actually it's a part of the Brahmanda Puran, which was composed by Rishi Vyas, and this was first discoursed by Vishnu Avatar Lord Hayagriva to Agastya Muni. This is a little bit of the history of this scripture. Now, what is the Shri Yantra? Since we are talking about, these are all connected topics, so that's why I'm bringing them here. So the next topic is what is a Shri Yantra and how is that connected to Lalithatripurasundari? So the Shri Yantra is the is the house of Lalita. So here she is here and she lives here, and this Shri Yantra is the geometrical representation where there are 43 triangles here, and there are Devis. Her Devis are residing in each and every triangle over here. Those Devis have got their own unique powers, own unique siddhis they can impart to you. Each of them are so powerful. And she is actually at their leader. So she is the preceding deity of the Shree Yantra. And the Shree Yantra is the cosmic blueprint. It is everything from which all the downloads of this universe have come around. So when we work with our sadhana, we will get many divine downloads, information, knowledge about many facets of this universe. We will come to know how things work, what are the stars like. There's so many things. She is providing knowledge to you on many areas and making you a complete, wholesome being. So the Shree Yantra can be used for deepening your connection with Devi, either by meditating on the form of the Shree Yantra or by doing certain rituals and pujas to the Shree Yantra. One of which is to do Shree Yantra Kumkumarchana Puja, where you do a Kumkumarchana to the Bindu of the Shree Yantra while chanting the Lalitashasranama or the Lalitatripura or the Khadagmala stotrams. All these are individual, very powerful hymns which can be sung in adoration of Devi, and these Shree Yantra pujas can be done along with the singing. Now I am bringing a short glimpse of this topic here because there's too much detail and it's not possible to talk everything here. You must come to the workshop if you want to know more. So why are we wanting to do this puja on Pournami? Why don't we do it today? Why don't we do it tomorrow? We can do it every day. Then what is the significance of Pournami for a Shakta, or why is Pournami important to do a Shree Yantra puja? So the answer to this is that if you see this innermost triangle here of the Shree Yantra, there are 43 triangles I told you. In the innermost triangle, which is just outside the Bindu, there are actually these Nitya Devis. Each of these 16 Nitya Devis are there, who are actually representing the various shades of the moon. Now, we all know that how we are impacted by the lunar energies. We have a lunar cycle. In women especially, it is quite in concordance with the moon. And in the moon, what happens? The moon has 15 days of a waxing period and 15 days of a waning period. It becomes full on Pournami and it recedes on to become totally absent on Amavasya. So the 16 phases of the moon are actually governed by the Nitya Devis. The 16 Nityas, out of which Lalitatripurasundari is the main one. She is the main one. And then we have Kameshwari Bhagamalini, Nitya Klinne Bherunde, Vahni Vasini, Mahavajreshwari, Shivaduti Twarite, Kulasundari, Nitye, Neelapatake, Vijaye, Sarva Mangale, Jwala Malini, and Chitre. Now, each of these Devis have got very specific roles and ways that they can assist you in your life. They have got even their specific mantras and yantras, which you can work with if you are initiated into Sri Vidya. But all of us are not initiated into Sri Vidya, but we want to enjoy their blessings. So how do we do that? We do that by chanting the Lalitashasranama, because that is the whole encompassing one where we are in connection with the main goddess. So all the goddesses will give you their blessings when you will do the Lalitashasranama. And on Pournami day, the moon actually has the powers of all the 16 Vidyas inside. That is why it is so auspicious to do a Pournami Shree Yantra Puja. That is why we are doing the puja on that day. Every day is a great day to pray to Devi. Every day is a wonderful, every moment is a moment of remembrance. But certain constellations and certain timings are very, very dense because the sadhana that you do in that time is amplified in many ways. So a Pournami brings to you this occasion once in a month where you are able to do some healing manifestation work. What does this mean, healing manifestation work? Healing work means that on Pournami, it would be great to uh, just sit with yourself and reflect on the areas of your life that need improvement, that need more fine polishing. So, and what are your manifest areas? What are your spiritual areas? What would you like to get better in? So that's the time to write a letter to Devi, like you're writing a letter to her that, I just want this much better to happen. So manifestation work is wonderful to do on Pournami days through your rituals. And then, now what are we going to do? Are we going to do a very complex ritual which is going to scare you away and say, ki, no, I can't do so much. I can't arrange so many things. It's going to be so complex. I don't know how to chant Lalitashasranama. I don't have these fancy offerings to make to Devi. So nothing is needed. You just make it very simple. So we are going to do this puja next Friday. It's going to take us around 1.5 hours because we're going to have this kind of a presentation first where we are going to understand more about her. And after that, we are going to do the puja. The puja per se would take around 45 minutes. And for that, very simple ingredients are needed. You just need a solitude space where you are able to be with yourself and, you're in an undisturbed environment. You're at peace with yourself. And you need a 3D Sriyantra Meru if you have that. If you do not have it, no problem. Just get a plate Sriyantra. If you don't have that, again, not a problem. You get a Sriyantra print done and laminated. And just get some kumkum, which is easily available anywhere in your nearest spiritual shop. And you get a small candle or a tea light candle or a diya. These are the 3 basics that you need for this puja. Beyond that, there is no dearth on what you can offer to Devi, and whatever you may offer is ever going to fall short because she is the provider for everything. So what can you offer to the one who has provided you with everything? But still, if you want to celebrate her, you want to do a lot of flower decorations, you want to really put a lot of diyas, lot of food, different foods, anything, you want to sing to her, you want to paint for her. So have your own connection with Devi. It's not that this is the only way that you can do Devi Upasana. So you can get as many offerings to the puja, you can decorate your space, you can decorate yourself, and come to this puja on next Friday, where I will be chanting the Lalitashasranama on Zoom, where you will be doing the puja on your yantras in your house. This is how you will participate in this puja. Okay, so those are the basics. Now I am cutting this session short because we have lesser time here. And these are some resources that you can use to deepen your understanding of Devi. You can go to my website, drpallavikwatra.com, and you will find a ebook there of Lalitashasranama that is free of cost. You just need to log into the website and you will be able to enjoy the book on my website. Other than that, I want to just show you, this book is actually looks like this. It's actually also available in paperback. It's like a 1 kg odd book. This is the way that all the names are depicted through 1000 images, and small descriptions are also written in English about what is the name and what does it mean. So very small. This is not a scriptural odyssey of some sort. The whole idea is to do a pictorial connection to Devi. This book is also available free of cost, but I will add a note to it that it has been very, very challenging for me to be able to print this book and share with everyone for free. I am not an organization. I am an individual trying to do some devotional work for Devi. So this book is available. The paperback is freely available, no charges for paperback, but it is available only for those who buy as I told you, there are 3 more Shiva Shakti books. So one of them is this. This is Shambhavi. This is a book on 111 goddesses, very aesthetically done, colored images, descriptions of various goddesses from various world traditions. Like that, also, we have a book on Ganesha, which is very unique, called as Ganesha and his 32 forms. And then there is a book called Shiva Shakti Talks. So those who want the free Lalitashasranama book will have to support my work through the purchase of the other books, with which I can be able to offer you this free book. That's how it works. Otherwise, you can access the free ebook at my website. Other than that, there is a free Shree Vidya course where you can understand the theoretical translations of each name in depth. The course is free. You just need to go to my website. There's a button called Enroll Now. Just tap there and put your email ID. And there are many chapters other than Lalitashasranama. So you can slowly read and do your pujas at home. The whole idea of the work is to empower you. It's not to make you dependent on me. I have created these resources with that in mind, that you should be able to get free of any leaning on anybody, and you should have your own connection with Devi yourself. So be a hardworking student, make use of the resources, make use of the book, make use of the free Shree Vidya course, spend some time each day. One day, you do like a 1000 day upasana, sadhana, okay? Where one day, each day you come, you read one name and you read its translation, and then you do manan and dhyanam on that name. The whole day you do just one day, one name only. So slowly at the end of it, you will become a Lalitashasranama expert. So that's how it is. It's not like you will just, I'll give you one pill and you will eat it and you'll become Siddha. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to do your share of work. And that is how you, if you want to really please Devi, then you have to do. The resources are available. You can please make use of those. Other than these, there is the do-it-yourself Lalitashasranama e-course, which is a guided e-course, step-by-step videos on how to do Sriyantra Pujas at home with Lalitashasranama chantings. So please make use of these resources and come to the workshop on Friday. First, experience what does a live puja mean? How does it help you? How do you connect with the energy? If you're just a starter who does not know anything also, you're most welcome to come. So thank you very much for this opportunity and patience of listening to me. I've been speaking a lot. It's just quite long time. So Bhairavji, would you please take over from here and inform further?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Pallavi, and I think it was a complete satsang, the way you had presented and the way you have explained various topics about Shriyantra, Shree Vidya, Lalitashasranama, and it was quite an immersive session, and I hope that everyone would have enjoyed the session as I did. And can we have quick questions in case anybody
Yes.
would like
Yeah.
to ask anything? They can
Yeah.
unmute themselves and they can ask.
Yes, 10 minutes we have for Q&A. So anybody wants to ask. I think one question is there in the chat box. I have read it. It is from Mr. Madhu, who is asking that there are these 3 different Devis or the same one? Okay. So well, I would like him to unmute himself and ask the question so that everybody can hear it.
Madhub ji, are you there? He is there.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Namaste, Madhukji. Please ask your question.
Pranam. Pranam. My question is there a difference between Sri Raja Rajeshwari, Ma Tripura Sundari Devi, Bala Tripura Sundari Devi? Can you explain the difference between them, or it's only one?
Okay. So Lalithatripurasundari and Raj Rajeshwari are same. Okay. They are one only. One Devi only. And Bala Tripurasundari is actually Lalithatripurasundari has got two different more forms from the time of her as like a child. Okay. So that is Bala Tripurasundari. She is the child form of Tripurasundari. And like that, the 16-year-old Tripura Sundari is called as Shodashi. So they are different forms of the same Devi as per their ages. So Bala is a very wonderful connection to have. Some people connect a lot more to the Bala form of Devi because she is so powerful and she is so playful that she makes your sadhana very effortless and very potent. So you may find yourself very drawn towards the Bala form of Devi. So don't reject it. You can work with that form deeper if you have that longing.
I've got another question, if you permit.
Yes.
What's the difference between Paramatma, which is the source, the true source of all creation, and Sri Lalita Tripura Sundari Devi?
There is no difference because she is the womb from which all this source point, she is the source point. So there is no difference. Paramatma is the culmination of the Shiva Shakti, okay? And Lalita is the culmination of the Shiva Shakti. She is not only the feminine principle, as you may mistake her to be only a feminine form, but Shiva Shakti Rupini, that is the last name of the Lalitashasranama, which says that she is the depiction of the wholesome Shiva Shakti wholesomeness. So she is one and Paramatma is not different from her.
One last question. There is like as you mentioned, there's like a love affair, like there's a love relationship between Devi and us in a way. My experience also, I experienced this love, the word, I use the same word as you, like the love affair or the love relationship. Is sometimes it's so beautiful and wonderful. Is this something very common, like we fall in love with Devi?
Okay, so I will come up and speak on this matter since you have touched upon it. And many of us here would find ourselves very shy to experience or accept or even express this. But I can bet on this that almost all the pure sadhakas of Devi have experienced her erotic nature. And if we are in denial of that, then we are just rejecting the beauty of our life. So at any point in your sadhana, at every point in your sadhana, it is a wonderful blessing to experience that eroticism, that blessing, that blissfulness, that, like that amrita, that nectar. So don't shun it, don't deny it, accept it, celebrate it, and keep moving with it. It's not uncommon, but you have accepted it right here on the screen. I am accepting it, but most people who are in the traditional concept only and are not able to come out with this. But if you are working with her energy, then you are bound to feel a celebratory love affair with yourself and with every being in this matrix. But the difference here is that it is not like a romantic love only. This is more like a ecstatic, anandik avastha, I would say that. You know, the bliss and pleasure are two different terms. I hope that I can make a difference there. So she is the bliss. And what we experience through our senses is only sensual pleasure. It comes to a halt. There's a dead point to it. We can't go beyond it. But in bliss, it is like the constant stream of an oil, that is always effulging within us. So it's very erotic. It's always exponential. It's always playing inside us. So that is Devi. So there's no denial to it. There's no shame to it. And we are out here and we are experiencing her fully and full on.
Yeah. Sorry, one last question.
No, but I think others would also want to have.
Okay, last, very last.
Okay.
I know the externalization when we are doing the Sriyantra Puja, we are doing putting kumkum, we are doing the Lalitashasranama and Kadgamala and all that thing. But also, there is the inner worship aspect of it. Is this being taught, or who normally get taught to learn this?
Okay, so Antarmukhi is the way to be, okay? But it is not everybody's cup of tea. We all need something quantifiable and substantial to hold on when we start our connection with Devi. So it's wonderful to do a ritualistic practices outside to start with for self-discipline, and those actually pave way for you to become an advanced sadhak, where you can only do a inner pujam or a inner worship or a inner awareness inside. So that is the possibility for a advanced sadhak. But to begin with, you must do the ritual because it helps you retain the connection in a more deeper way when that happens. So, and there are different methods to do the internal sadhanas. There is nothing to, no chant to do, no kumkum archana to do, no Shri Yantra is happening, nothing is happening. So the question that you asked it, how to do it, now that's something I don't know. I do it, but I don't know how to share it with you. It is something beyond words. And it may be an individual experience to have your inner connection with her. It's something like a perennial friend that you're always talking to and walking to and doing everything with. So she becomes your moment to moment remembrance. That is the internal method of worship of Sri Lalita, which is available to the advanced sadhaks. I hope that the answer is, yeah.
Thank you very much. I've got more questions, but I think I'll give the opportunity to others to ask their questions.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for everything.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, in the meanwhile, I would like to inform everyone that Dr. Pallavi will be holding this puja on 29th Pournami, Sriyantra Puja, along with the detailed presentation of various facts associated with Shri Lalitashasranama. And the energy exchange for this is 2100, but till 27th of September, we are giving an early bird offer. So we are giving a 10% discount on that, and it will be 1900 till that time. And I hope we are all part of Dr. Pallavi's group. So my details are available there. You can inbox me and you can ask if you have got any further queries on it. And we have got another 1 or 2 minutes in case anyone would like to ask something, can unmute themselves and ask, or we will end the session.
Mr. Madhup can ask one more question if nobody else is wanting to ask. He wants to ask, so let him ask one more question, then we'll end the session.
Right, and I would also like to inform that Dr. Pallavi also provides consultation on various subjects. So, Shri Vidya is also one of the subject of consultation. If you want to have a one-on-one consultation with her, then you can contact me and we'll fix up an appointment, a personal appointment over a call with you and Dr. Pallavi, so you can have all your doubts, your queries regarding Shri Vidya. answer.
So can I ask one more question?
Yes,
If
yes.
So when we do the Sri Raja Rajeshwari Stavram or Stotram, I think, there is that Bindu aspect in the puja that we keep on repeating Sri Chakra. I haven't got the full text in front of me.
Yeah, yeah.
But then here when we're doing that Stotram, we are going directly towards the Bindu. Whereas when we look at the Khadgamala, when we are doing the puja, it's all the aspect that build up gradually, and then we go towards the bindu, towards the end bit of the triangle, and the bindu at the end. So, is this correct to go directly to the bindu, or going through all the steps, like how Khadgamala is, or is that still okay to go directly to the bindu? Would we be able to get the attention of Devi?
No, but why do you say that in Lalitashasranama we go directly to the bindu? We don't. We're going from bottom to top only, and through the various namas, we are actually the initial part of the Lalitashasranama is a lot of description of her physical beauty and her different body parts. So it's more like in the material dimension we are describing her. And later, as the Lalitashasranama progresses, the names become very, very deep and they touch upon the mystical dimensions. And the last name, as I told you, is basically the culmination point, or that is the bindu. So we don't come straight, we don't hit the bindu directly in Lalitashasranama.
Yeah.
And even in Khadagmala, we are always talking about the various layers and the various, the triangles and everything. So we are going in an ascension path only. They are not different from each other.
But when you look at the Sri Raja Rajeshwari Stotram, I think I can send it to you for you to understand what I'm trying to say. Where we don't go like how the Sahasranam or the Khadgamala, or like going through all the steps by steps, but it's like a jump directly towards the bindu. Probably I'll share it with you, then probably you can have a look. Yeah.
Okay. But
Thank
the
you very much.
Lalitashasranama and Khadagmala are both ascension pathways only. They are not hitting the bindu directly. Because,
Yes.
to hold that energy, it's not something like you take a leap and then you go get exploded there. You have to build yourself. You have to build the capacity to hold that energy. So it's not possible to hit the bindu directly. It needs lots and lots of upasanas and lots and lots of sadhana to be able to equip yourself for handling the energy there.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So thank you all of you for coming and attending this session. And I hope to see all of you in the Friday Pournami Puja. Don't be scared of it. Just get your yantra and come with kumkum and come joyfully dressed up, decked up like a child. And we will celebrate and do the puja together. Thank you so much, Bhairavji, for helping us host this program.
Thank you, Dr. Pallavi. And thank you, everyone. Shri Matre Namaha. See you all on next Friday. Thank you.